So let's talk about karmic imprints and karmic imprint clearance. And before talking about them, let's talk about reality and how you respond to reality. So reality is where you live, where you do your life business. And sometimes the things happen might be within your control, sometimes it may not be within your control, because world is a complex place. And for these situations, you might respond with an emotion. You might respond by thinking what is the best thing that could happen, but most of the time you might respond with an emotion, and you would decide the best way to approach the current situation based on your emotions. I have seen Facebook and Instagram posts where people say, I always tell the truth, and I don't really care how you feel about it. But what does it mean this person tells the truth? This person goes to emotional state where they state their version of the truth very loud, regardless of the other person's emotional state. That's what they say. So there's another statement people say, I get angry, but I don't carry it. So what they're doing is actually they go into an emotional state and they act out from that emotional state as if that is the right thing, as if that is the truth, and they would say statements like this to prove that is the way to behave. Now, what karmic imprint is an emotional response you have to any situation. So, the situations I talked to you about, they are emotional responses. They are actually shadows. These are shadow patterns. We'll talk about what shadows are in few minutes. What are the other emotional responses? Joy, love, happiness. So those are emotional responses. Need to possess. I need to have more of that. I need to catch this. I need to make this mine. Those are emotional responses. They are not love. I want to have this person in my life. I need to have this person in my life is not love. That's a different pattern. And then fear, guilt, anger, frustration, victimization, those are also emotional responses. And there are other emotional responses that don't feel like emotional responses. Somebody might want to test their lover, so they would do things that would break somebody else's heart and see whether the other person would leave them, testing them. So this is also emotional response. They are responding in a kind of fear. I will not be loved. I cannot be loved. That is also an emotional response. But these patterns are not really visible. Like for a lot of people, when they're angry, they know. When they're sad, they know. When they're happy, they know. When they're in love, they know. But these kind of patterns where they would try to terrorize somebody, or they try to harm somebody else to have a personal gain, these patterns, these karmic imprints are not really visible to them, because it becomes part of their shadow. Shadow is a part of your being that is not visible to you. You don't see them, but they are nonetheless karmic imprints. And then for the last category is the codependency patterns. You might tell somebody, if you're coming with me now, please have a different dress, like dress differently. What that says is, the other will assess me based on the way you dress. Now we are creating a pattern of existence that is tightly bound to another person, another thing, or another situation. Without that, your existence becomes meaningless. So this is also a karmic imprint. So karmic imprint covers a very vast range of things. Do we get to clear everything in your karmic imprint? And the answer is no. We in karmic imprint clearance, we get to clear what is highest priority according to your higher self. So we work with your higher self to figure out what we are allowed to clear, and we will be clearing them. And we'll be doing this in a two-stage approach. So it will be done in 2 sessions. To do these clearances, we'll be making use of advanced energetic structures. I make use of 2 sets of them. So one is Ahu codes and the other one is zero field codes. So these are advanced energetic structures that we can embed in your energy body, and they work within your energy body, dissolving these karmic patterns. So how do these karmic patterns get created in you? Karmic patterns get created in you in 3 different ways. These patterns could have been created in this life, or it could have been created in a previous life and you might have just brought it forward to this life, or one of your ancestors might have created that. By being part of that lineage, you might get it. So what happens in the moment of karmic imprint creation is you face intense emotional situation where you don't know how to handle that. You don't have any preset way of handling that, so you would act in whatever the way you might act, by shouting, hiding. So you would have a, I would say, random reaction to that. But part of your being, part of your soul, part of your existence would break away from your whole and embody that as the default response, the given response to that. So with the emotion, you would have a tightly woven response, internal program. And what happens in a later date, when you experience similar situation, you will respond with that. So that's why we call it so karmic imprints, we call them IDs or identities. So they would act as if this is the right way to behave. So what happens in your life is you would get used to these patterns and think that is you. I am this. I am like this. You are not like that. That's a broken away piece running your life. As a whole, you are not like that. Okay, so that's a broken away piece that's need to reintegrate back to you so that you can live like you are. You don't have to be a puppet of these identities that you or somebody else might have created, that you have inherited now. So what these energy structures do is dissolve these identities according to the permission that we receive from your higher self. These broken away parts aids do another thing. They attract more and more of these similar situations to your life. So you would start seeing you are living in a certain spiral. Like similar kind of things keep happening. So after clearances, one of the biggest things that you would experience is some of the major emotional situations would go away from your life, and you would be able to think the right solution instead of acting out a past program, and start creating a different, better life for you. Now, here's a question that a lot of people ask. Isn't it normal to be sad when a loved one passes away? Or isn't it normal for us to feel happy when we get a financial advantage or a gift? The answer is no. If you actually think about it, it is not rational. So when somebody passes away, based on how you think, either they have gone to a better place or a different experience, and anyway we cannot live forever. So it is quite unreasonable for us to expect that we would live forever. So that actually is a karmic imprint. The thing that makes you cry is a karmic imprint, and thing that make you happy when you get an advantage for you is a karmic imprint. So that's why when people talk about enlightenment is a state where you don't get shaken up by these external stimulus. That's the definition of enlightenment. You have much more control over what is happening within your energy body, within your mind, and you can do rational response instead of pre-programmed response. So that's it about karmic imprints and karmic imprint clearances. If you want to join, if you want to experience that, you can connect with me. I'm GamakaShri, Chief Trainer and Coach from Mind Designs International. Take care of yourself. Jai Shri.